Feel free to take my wallet after 25 years of employment. I was living a poor life with monthly take-home pay of only $1,500. I met an old lady one day. The old lady claimed to be penniless. Unable to ignore someone in a worse situation than myself, I decided to give her all my savings. Then, a few days later, I unexpectedly reunited with her in a way I never imagined. "As of today, you're fired from this factory," the manager said. Afterwards, my life took a complete 180-degree turn. My name is Kevin. I am a self-admittedly dull man who currently works on a factory line. I am turning 40 this year. Due to my low salary of $1,500 a month at this age, I live a modest life in a small apartment. No wife, no kids, leading a single life. Although I have no family, there is one being I can call family. It's rotisserie. I'm home meow. I pick up rotisserie, the one who always greets me when I come home. It's a ginger cat named Rotisserie. I found this kitten abandoned and took it home not long ago. The name Rotisserie came about because I picked up this cat on my way back from buying chicken at a supermarket. I debated between Rotisserie and Burrito, but now I'm glad I chose this name. Though still a kitten, Rotisserie is in its mischievous phase, causing me quite a bit of trouble. So today, once again, Rotisserie has escaped from the apartment. Taking my eyes off him for just a moment, he seemed to have dashed out through the window. In a panic, I rushed out of the apartment and ran in the direction Rotisserie had escaped. With my usual lack of exercise, I couldn't keep up with the kitten's sprint and was panting heavily as I shouted, "Rotisserie, where are you?" I received odd looks from passers-by, wondering if I should have stuck with another name. As I searched a park a little beyond my apartment, something caught my eye. Thinking there was a chance, I peered into the park. There, on a bench in the park, was the old lady with Rotisserie being petted by her. "Rotisserie, so you were here," I blurted out loud, and the old lady, seeing me, hurried to leave. Meow. However, it seems Rotisserie had taken a liking to this old lady. Following her slowly, Rotisserie rubbed its body against the old lady's leg. As she stopped, the old lady looked troubled. Seeing Rotisserie, who usually shies away from people, this attachment was impressive. While admiring this, I picked up Rotisserie. "Sorry about my cat." "Oh no, I'm the one who should apologize." I petted him without knowing he was someone's cat. "I'm sorry," the old lady spoke with a gentle voice, exuding a certain grace. Yet, despite the cold, her clothes were tattered. In the midst of winter in January, she wore a clearly worn-out apron and sandals suitable only for a quick errand. Without a coat, she looked as if she had left home in a hurry. Clearly, she seemed cold. Coincidentally, I too had rushed out of my house in a hurry chasing after Rotisserie and had almost nothing but what I had on. Rather than here, why don't you come to my place? My name is Dorothy Miller. I learned that Dorothy had been living with her son and his wife, but had impulsively left home after a minor argument. She had left her phone at home, and although she thought she had her wallet with her, it seemed she had lost it at some point. I guess this is what they mean by when it rains, it pours. After leaving, she couldn't bring herself to go back home and wandered aimlessly until she found that park and decided to rest on a bench. That's when Rotisserie came by her side, followed by me. Your home is near Solar Station. That's 6 stations away from here, isn't it? I was genuinely impressed by the distance she had walked. I must be bothering you, Kevin. I shouldn't be stubborn and should just go home now, Dorothy said, standing up. But it was nearly time for the last train. Since it's a 20-minute walk from this apartment to the station, it would be impossible for her to get home today. I considered taking a taxi, but taxis are only available at the station square. To make matters worse, I dropped my phone yesterday while trying to take a photo of Rotisserie, and now the screen is completely shattered. I can't make calls, send emails, or use messaging apps anymore. Since nobody contacts me anyway, I had planned to get it repaired after work tomorrow, so my phone is currently out of service. Public phones in the area have been removed over time, so I decided to make her an offer. Dorothy, would you like to stay here tonight? Oh no, I couldn't possibly impose on you to that extent. But Dorothy, you don't have any cash on you right now, right? Embarrassingly, I don't have much on me either. I also mentioned my broken phone and that I couldn't do anything until tomorrow. It's cold this season, and it would be terrible if something happened to you on your way home. Besides, Rotisserie seems to have taken a real liking to you. Staying on her lap even after we got inside, it was going to be tough to get him to move. Well, it seems Rotisserie is also saying I should stay, so maybe I will take you upon your offer just for tonight. Yes, please do. Fortunately, I had an extra bed in a spare room of my home, so I gave it to Dorothy. I let her rest there. I do have fights with my son like this sometimes, but this time it turned into quite a heated argument when I was cooking, so I just left with my apron on, which is embarrassing at my age. Dorothy chuckled. It's nice to have a family you can argue with. I'm envious. Kevin, how about your parents? Oh, my parents have both passed away. Oh my, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. No, please don't apologize. Saying that made Dorothy look somewhat relieved. Then I decided to share a bit about my past. My parents passed away just before I graduated from middle school, and as their only son, I inherited everything, including their debts. The debt was from a shady loan company, and the interest was mercilessly high. The company's representative said, "If you can pay back the $30,000 your father owed, we'll cut you some slack on the interest." So, I decided to start working right after middle school. At the time, with no relatives to rely on, that was the only option I thought I had. I found a job at this factory, which hired middle school graduates, and have been here ever since. Now, a 25-year veteran. Kevin, after 25 years on the same factory line, you could be a supervisor or something, couldn't you? Are you a supervisor? No way. I'm still a regular employee because I only finished middle school and have no further education. What? That's ridiculous. Really? The factory manager, Jake, and the current supervisor, Ryan, always say, "You'll never get promoted because you only finished middle school. You'll be a regular employee forever with this salary." Dorothy's eyes widened. By the way, how much is your salary? It's been about $1,500 take home since I joined. I've been able to keep that amount since I finished paying off my parents' debt. While paying off the debt, I allocated $200 each month to repayments. Despite barely making ends meet with rent and food expenses, I've managed to get by given my circumstances. Marriage was out of the question. Before I knew it, I was 40 with only Rotisserie, the rescued cat, as my family. Dorothy listened to my story, nodding and occasionally expressing surprise, proving to be a good listener. I wondered if this is what it would have been like if my mother were still here. I'm sorry for talking about such things. It must not have been very interesting for you to listen to. No, I asked you to tell me. It's incredible that you've been working so diligently and even paid off your parents' debts. That's nothing. I think the kind person was the man from the loan company. I just did what I had to do. However, being praised for the first time made me feel unexpectedly bashful. After that, Dorothy and I went to bed, and since I had work the next day, we left the house together. Rotisserie didn't want to leave Dorothy until the very end, and it was a struggle to separate them. Rotisserie will be in a bad mood all day today. Then, Dorothy and I made our way to the local station. Before work, I stopped by a drugstore. I withdrew all the balance from the ATM. There was only about $20 left, but it should cover the train fare. Dorothy, you need some cash. To get home, please take my wallet with you. Surprised by Dorothy's reaction, I managed to smile. It's not much, but I think it should be enough to get you home. No, absolutely not. You can't just hand over your wallet to someone you hardly know. But you don't have any pockets in the clothes you're wearing now, Dorothy. And it's better to have a wallet than to carry cash in hand. It would be terrible if you were robbed while holding the money. But what about your living expenses? I've already accounted for that. My payday is coming up soon, so it'll be fine. After some back and forth, Dorothy finally agreed and accepted my wallet. And until the very end, she kept saying thank you before disappearing into the station. When I returned home from work, Riser was sitting sadly on the bed Dorothy had used. But since Dorothy has her own home to return to, I couldn't keep her here. Given that Riser had grown so attached to her, I had no hesitation in giving her my entire wallet. Well, payday is the day after tomorrow, and I guess I can survive without eating for a couple of days. A few days after meeting Dorothy, I went back to my routine of work and home, cherishing my time with Riser. The 2 days until payday were tough, but I managed with just water. And after that, my salary came in, so I could eat properly and get my phone repaired. I was living an unremarkable life, and this is exactly what my life was like when. Kevin, I need to talk to you. One day, out of the blue, Jake called me over, which took me by surprise. Jake had joined this factory a few years ago, though he's a bit younger than me at 38. He looks down on someone like me, an older but regular employee, because of his position as a factory manager. Especially after knowing my background, he would only ever insult me with remarks like dropout, older but still a regular employee, and guy with a $1,500 salary. I don't know if it was his way of blowing off steam, but he kept up his petty harassment, and it was taking its toll on me. But since he's the factory manager, I couldn't afford to resist and risk losing my job, so I just let it slide. Naturally, when Jake said he needed to talk, it made me wonder what it could possibly be about. But it also crossed my mind that he could actually have a serious conversation with me. The place I was called to was the factory's reception room. I rarely enter there, so my heart was pounding unnecessarily. Could it be? Am I about to be fired? I couldn't think of anything I had done wrong, but sudden layoffs are always a possibility. If that happened, would I be able to find another job right away? And what about Riser's food as he grows? With these thoughts, I opened the door to the reception room where Jake, an elegant older woman, and a man in a suit were seated across from each other. The man seemed to be about my age. I didn't recognize him. As I tentatively said, "Excuse me," the woman looked up. Seeing her face, I was stunned. It was Dorothy. "Why does this dropout know your name?" "I had a little encounter with him the other day." "It's none of your business." When Dorothy said that coldly, Jake awkwardly looked away. "Kevin, I really appreciated your help the other day. Thank you so much." "No, I'm Dorothy now." In a sophisticated suit, Dorothy looked entirely different from the apron-clad figure I had met before, embodying the image of a female president. The man about my age, sitting next to Dorothy, stood up and thanked me. "Kevin, thank you for taking care of my mother the other day. Thanks to you, she safely returned home, and our family is relieved." "No, please. You don't have to thank someone like me." Being thanked so politely by someone who clearly held the higher status made me extremely nervous. But to give away your wallet like that was all I had at the time. Even so, it's not something many people would do, giving away their entire wallet to a stranger. You think so too, right? It's not something easily done. Dorothy and the man were saying this to me, but I was just filled with embarrassment. "Dorothy, why are you here? And who is this man?" As I finally managed to say that, Jake exclaimed, "What? You don't know who these people are?" "I know who Dorothy is, but I don't know the man," I honestly replied. "That's why I hate dealing with dropouts like you. I'm sorry, everyone, for his ignorance. He's a dropout and doesn't know much about the world." Jake said, "These people are the president and chairman of our parent company. You're living in shame, not knowing even that, Jake scolded me. I was shocked by Jake's words. Wait, Dorothy is the president? No, I used to be the president. But now I'm the chairman, Dorothy said. This son of mine is the president. The man was Dorothy's son and the president of the parent company. I had never met or even known the names of such high-ranking individuals from the parent company. Given our lack of connection, I'm sorry. I really didn't know. I wondered if I had said or done anything disrespectful to Dorothy that day. Was it even rude in the first place to have her stay at my humble home? The thought made my face color drain. There's a reason we asked you to come here today, Dorothy said. She looked at me with a serious expression. You are being terminated from this factory as of today. Oh no. I knew it would. Will the determination process take long? Dorothy asked. No. If it's an order from you, I can process it immediately, right now. Effective today. All right, that's fine then. Thank you. Jake quickly stood up and left the reception room. As he left, he muttered, "Finally rid that dropout." But his words didn't register with me. The shock of being fired was greater than anything else. Within an hour, Jake had truly terminated me from the factory. Effective today. Here's your termination notice. Don't ever come back to our factory. That's what Jake said as he handed me the termination notice. Kevin, let's go. Please come with me. Dorothy called out to me, still in a daze, and left with Mr. Miller. I hurriedly followed them. Get in. And I got into the black car that Dorothy and the others had gotten into. Where are we going? We're going to our company. Your company is the parent company of this factory. The president, her son, gave a reassuring smile. Minutes later, I found myself in a very comfortable car on my way to the parent company for the first time. And the place they took me to was a presidential office on the top floor. Still in my work clothes, I was led there and told to sit on a plush sofa, which I did without objection. The women I saw before entering the president's office, probably secretaries, seemed to give me a cold look as if wondering, why is someone like him here? Feeling out of place and fidgety, Dorothy spoke up. The day you handed over your wallet, I thought to myself, what an incredible person he must be. Incredible. I'm not. The truth is, people generally only think about themselves. When I was running the company, I saw so many people like that. I just assumed everyone was the same. But Kevin, you were different. You helped a complete stranger, offered me a place to stay, and in the end, even gave me your wallet containing all your savings. Thinking about it now, maybe what I did was a bit odd. But then again, you were really in trouble at that time. I really wanted to thank you. But I hope you don't mind, but I looked inside the wallet you gave me. Your driver's license was in there, so I ended up finding out about you. I was surprised to learn you worked at one of our subsidiary factories. That was a surprise for me too. From what you told me before, it sounded like your work environment wasn't the best. But after seeing Jake's attitude today, I got a pretty good idea of how you were being treated at the factory. Someone as sincere as you shouldn't have to endure that. You need to know your own worth. Dorothy said that with a sincere look, and it warmed my heart. I had always thought I was a person of no value, so it was the first time someone spoke so passionately about me. I couldn't help but deeply admire Dorothy as a person. Kevin, I'm going to hire you as my personal assistant at our company. You'll be paid a salary befitting the position, so don't worry. I couldn't help but let out an incredulous sound again. I believe in you. You have the kind of reliability that is invaluable in a person. You'll learn things you couldn't learn at the factory under my guidance. Refusing Dorothy's offer seemed rude after everything she said, and I felt that I would indeed learn a lot from this new opportunity. A few days later, I found myself back at the factory where I used to work. Seeing me, Jake approached with a smug, malicious grin. What? What is a dropout like you wearing a suit here? Is this some kind of cosplay? Sorry, but we're not hiring mid-career guests today. I was at the factory, dressed in a suit. Yes, I'm here on Miss Miller's behalf. This is a document from her. What? On Miss Miller's behalf? Yes, I've been working as her secretary since the other day. What? After learning that I was working as her secretary, Jake barged into our company, proclaiming, "If a dropout like him can do it, I can do it even better. Hire me as an apprentice secretary." He was repeatedly escorted out by security as this behavior persisted. Dorothy eventually appeared and dismissed him, stating, "We don't need someone like you who looks down on my benefactor." Following that, Jake was demoted, relegated to just another worker on a factory line. It was Mr. Miller and Miss Miller who decided that Jake was not suitable for the position of factory manager. Since then, I've been working hard every day as Miss Miller's apprentice secretary. My salary increased significantly, and I was able to move to a better place. I even managed to get a full set of suits, marking a complete turnaround in my life. Though every day was challenging with so much to learn, it was incredibly fulfilling. Returning home to rotisserie, my hairy companion, and being able to take him for grooming made my days even better. One day, Miss Miller introduced me to a woman. She's the daughter of a friend of mine around your age. She's a single mother raising her son, and she's a great person. I declined indirectly, saying, "At this age, now of all times," but she insisted. "Just meet her." Apparently, Miss Miller enjoyed playing matchmaker. The woman turned out to be Olivia, a classmate from my middle school. When I heard the name, I wondered if it could be Kevin. It's been so long, Olivia. Our reunion as former classmates led to a lively conversation. Olivia had married at 21, had a son at 22, and soon after discovered her husband's infidelity and divorce. She had been working hard ever since, juggling work and raising her son. Time had flown by, and then Olivia showed me a photo of a white cat she's keeping at home now. My cat's name is Snowball. I was torn between Cheese and Snowball, but I chose Snowball because of her beautiful white color, like yogurt, she said. So, I showed her a photo of Rotisserie. I actually have a cat too, named Rotisserie. I debated between Rotisserie and Burrito for his name. Hearing that, Olivia laughed. "Kevin, your naming sense is quite something too." As Rotisserie and Snowball started spending time together, Olivia and I naturally grew closer. I also became good friends with Olivia's son, Tyler, and the three of us often went out for meals together. "Mom, I'm about to become an adult. It's time for you to start living your own life," Tyler said to Olivia after one of our meals together. Then, Tyler turned to me, "Kevin, my mom has worked tirelessly every day to raise me. I want her to live her own life from now on. She seems so happy when she's with you. If it's not too much to ask, please be with her," Tyler requested. Olivia was moved to tears. "I ask the same of you, please," I replied. Since then, the three of us, along with Rotisserie and Snowball, have been living happily in a cozy house. Occasionally, Miss Miller and Mr. Miller would visit, and each time, our home would be filled with laughter and joy. I could never have imagined that simply helping someone would lead to such appreciation and change in my life so drastically. I feel incredibly fortunate to have met people who value me so much. Miss Miller always says, "It's a bit late, but this is your reward for living an honest life. And you should have confidence in yourself because you are truly worth it," she would add. While it's still hard for me to have confidence in myself, I am truly grateful to have people who value me that much. With the intent of repaying Miss Miller and the others for their kindness, I am determined to continue doing my best.